Good evening. Welcome to the lounge. How's everybody doing today? So, obviously, by the title, we're gonna get into a little bit of things, but I wanted to before I get going, I want to shout out Shane Richards 3014. I am going to tag him in this video. I want to shout him out because the comment he left because it obviously created this topic, but it also allowed me to do some critical thinking. Like to really put thought into the question he asked. And even though I responded back to his answer, it inspired this topic. So I titled this video because, we was talking about the congestion pricing and everything else like that, and how everything does come down to dollars and cents, and even if it's a cause that people are behind, that people try to monetize, or what they try to do is take advantage of trying to get a bag out of the cause. So, you know, obviously, California is going through some wildfires right now, right? And so here's the thing with topics like these sometimes that what I go through with doing these topics sometimes, because we're in an age of information, we get information overload. Like there's so much, and then I'm like, oh, I want to cover this, or I want to cover that, or oh, I saw this, or I saw that. Like so, the day that Shane did the comment, and this a little bit with congestion prices, I saw a little article in the paper where a woman who pushed the congestion prices, she was actually mugged on the subway, right? And I said, "Oh, I should do that because that's funny, whatever, whatever." But then I'm like, we can expand a little more because what it is what people always try to do is they always try. You got to follow the money. Like you have detectives on a detective show and stuff. They be like, follow the money, follow the money. That's usually how you solve your crimes. You follow the money, and a lot of the times, crimes are solved because you follow the money, right? So that can go across anything, right? So these California wildfires, as I was looking into them, at first I don't like to take a topic where it's too much of informational overload at the same time, because you can't disseminate what's important, what's not important. Is it left leaning driven or right leaning driven? I come from a generation. I'm a Generation Xer, so I know some people are already gonna be like, "Oh God, here we go." But I come from that age where if I want political commentary, I'll watch Meet the Press. Like just give me the facts. Let me have the facts. I'll disseminate it myself. That's a disadvantage of the age of the information. Because you get so much and you don't know how to compartmentize and all of that stuff. But it was this guy on YouTube I was just watching actually a few minutes ago. His name was Orlando Minor, and he's done other content. But what hit my feed, because I guess it's related to the California wildfires, is like these insurance companies and how people are trying to get insurance after the fact, and all of these all of these things, right? Because you have so many different things. Because you talk about people not cleaning the wooded area, the forest area, and like I said, I'm not an environmentalist by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just it's getting the information. What kind of what kind of gave the side eye because, especially because I did congestion pricing a little bit. I touched on that, and I talk about like how the board of the MTA, majority of the board of the MTA is all on boards of environment companies and things like that. It's kind of like the same thing in this situation because you got these politicians, especially in California. I mean, like I'm everybody has their own opinions about California, so but those environmentalists, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, but this from what I'm getting at, I guess creating mulch or whatever it is to help the trees grow or whatever the case may be, you can't clean it up. But what happens is in California, because of the weather, it dries out everything. So now if you have a campfire, you do a little spark and that's it. Boom. Like, I mean, I could be saying the wrong state, but it might have been California where a whole forest fire happened because they did a gender reveal. Like I mean, that's a whole nother topic within itself. But the point I'm making is, could these fires be avoided, and could because there's too much money with these lobbyists, and it's just too much of a bag, and when you watch the footage, like you seen this lady, I guess, talking to Gavin Newsom, she was like, my school's burned down. What, like, oh, right? And he's like, oh, I was on the phone with the president. All of a sudden, she's like, let me hear, put it on speaker. He's like, oh, I lost signal. I got to go somewhere to call him back. I'm like, wait a minute. You in LA, dog. Stop. Like, you know how many cell towers there are in LA, man? And you lost signal. And you said that shit on TV. Like you lost signal in the middle of LA. I mean, it could happen, but just kind of like New York. I mean, like, well, like, I don't live in the city personally. I live outside the city, but like, only time, if I barely even go down to New York City anymore unless it's like work and I'm on the edge, so I don't even go that far in. But for the most part, Manhattan, most of the time, if I have to really go down there, the only time I lose signal is in the subway. And even though I haven't took a train in a long time, somebody's gonna be in the comment section, bro, you out of touch, because we get signal over here. And so I think there is some train stations that get service, blah blah blah, whatever the infrastructure is. The point I'm making is, you're in a major metropolitan city, and all of a sudden your signal dies and you not underground, bruh. Whatever. No judgment here. Just pointing that out. This is the stuff when I say, like, you got to pay attention to these things, right? Because obviously, when you come to politicians, you got people that donate to these campaigns or whatever, and my question would be, how much money did the environment people donate to the campaign? Because it all goes back, man. I should get into environmentalism, man. That shit's a bag. Yeah, I could get a whole bag. Well, I remember being a kid, it was like the 3 R's: reuse, recycle, something like that. But like, man, I could have got a bag. No, knowing this, like, man, listen, like, there's so many causes that are, when you look at them on paper, they're good causes and things that any regular person would believe in and get behind. It's the issue, like for an example, I mean, I covered it in a prior video, but like, for an example, child support, right? Child support has a mission statement. If you go and look it up, because I read it years ago when I first started the whole embark of my own child support situation. But there's a whole mission statement. And when I read it, I said, wow. I was just like, I can get with that. makes sense. You know, and anybody who has any decency, I guess, if you, for lack of a better term, you read that and you be like, yeah, I have no problem doing that. But when you start seeing where the money's going and how stuff is broken down and the things I learned, I'm like, pfft, pfft. What else? What else you got? What else you got? Oh, BLM. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, um, yeah, Black Lives Matter and things like that. And you say to yourself, well, I did read the mission statement. That's something totally different. I'm not behind it, but let's just say that's a cause that you can get behind. But now here we go. The people that found they got all types of money, all types of bread, and everybody got a bag over here and a bag over here. And when those black lives that get gunned down in the streets and everything else like that, those lives don't matter because it was about getting the bag. Like, well, what else we got? I mean, there's so many different things where it's good on paper, but when you start seeing how the money's moved, it's like, yo, it's like people really take advantage of what it is. Excuse me. And so when I thought about these things, as I did the comment and formulating all of this together, it's just like I just look at these different causes and I look at these different beliefs, like even the like red pill, manosphere space. There's a there's a bag in going against that green. You know what I mean? It's like so much so I dare say, and I like I said, I talked about this in another topic because that's a topic kind of close to home for me. So I done videos about that already, but talking about how like DNA testing for I forgot, I want to say Tennessee. I never really followed up on that, but if pretty much if you're not married to have mandatory DNA testing, right? Because the numbers is 33 and a third of the test are not revealed to be the actual parent and father or whatever the case may be. But I mean, it's a good legislation. But now I'm thinking how many other legislation they sneak up in there, because that's another thing. They'll put out, hey, we're gonna do this, and then they sneak a whole bunch of other stuff in it. You know what I mean? Like so with that DNA testing, and now I'm starting to ask, well, who's gonna do the DNA testing? How are they gonna get paid? Is it gonna be through taxpayers? Is it gonna be through personal? You know what I mean? Like when you start, and like I said, that's a cause I can get behind. That's I am not against it. See, that's where the confusion. I don't want to get that confused. I'm not against that. The problem becomes of who's going to make the bag out of it. You know what I mean? Like who's getting the money? How's this money being moved? Because that's how we got to look at stuff. Unfortunately, nowadays we got to look at how the money's being moved, right? Like because like the insurance companies in California, they're trying to do like they don't see the fire, like the smoke behind them in their corporate office. Oh well, we don't cover act of God here, like things of that nature. So it always comes down to dollars and cents. I always say when you look at any situation, like when they had the whole the deletion of children, and this is a controversial thought, and it's not my original thought. So I'm not the first one to come up with this, but somebody broke it down how it wasn't about women's rights. Because when you start looking at the dollars and cents, is because of like the movement of manosphere spaces and red pills and men going their own way and not having kids and blah blah blah. A lot of money was being lost behind child support. A lot of money was being lost behind marriages and divorces. Because think about how much money it costs you probably like $50 to get married, but $30,000 to get divorced. That don't even make no sense. Math ain't mathing. And so, let me go back to that original thought. So what they were saying is because of all of this is going on, people losing money. So how can we get the money back? Reverse the decision, maybe. Relying on certain states outlawing deletion of babies and therefore have to go through the cycle of child support, which also PS every child support case the federal government matches the state with money that your child doesn't get. The state gets it for whatever, so that's part of the other budget too. But that's a little nugget for you right there. A little how shout out to the UMCs, a little one to grow on. You know what I mean? But so when you look, it's a very controversial thought process. But if you put yourself in the mind frame of who's making the money, where's the money going, how is the money being shifted, and who really benefits from this? You know what you know what I mean? I hate to break it to you guys. It's not about your feelings. It's not about causes that are right or wrong or indifferent. At the end of the day, is how can we capitalize off these causes that we talk about? You know what I mean? There's a lot of wow, what's another good one? That yeah, a lot of people. There's a lot of money, even in crime. Crime is a business, but a lot of people are not ready to have that conversation, and we're not talking about racial people putting them behind bars and shooting up the population so you could get more Congress people and all that. I'm not even touching that. I'm talking about the actual dollars and cents of it all. You know what I mean? Like, as far as how much it actually costs to incarcerate. How much does it actually, not for nothing. It's not just housing. It's not just housing with prisoners and all of that. We're talking about the lights. Who pays the light bill for that? Like simple stuff. Who pays the light bill? The food. Who's the vendor of the food? How much is they getting paid? The uniforms, because prisoners got to wear the uniforms and all that for the most part. Who's making those uniforms? How much money are they getting? Or are they a publicly traded company? See, these are this is the mindset we got to start getting into. And that's how you hold the people accountable. Follow the money. So, I'm going to end it right here. Like, comment, subscribe. We could definitely keep this conversation going. I hope to get a lot of comments in as far as with this video, because there is some questions we need to start asking, and we cannot be in our feelings when we ask these questions, because it's all about the budget. Remember that.